Okay, chat. Hello. I'm sorry. I'm talking to Perish in game. Hello, chat. Hello. It is day 2,466 of North Horn. Moonfire event has started. The boat is here. You should go do the mission. You get a floaty. You get a little floaty. Hold on. Let me change scene. You get to see what I mean. Let me change C so you see what I mean. We're back in the building, trying to make a scene. I can't think of anything else. My bad. You know, I try to freestyle. Wasn't happening. Wasn't happening. Also, when did they start putting the plus stuff up on here? When? I just noticed that. Has that been there the whole time? There's like, help me reach plus level 1. Level 1. I don't even know how many points. 100 points? You gotta get 100 subs? Is that what it is? You gotta get 100 subs? I don't know where this energy came from. I'm kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie. All right. So, anyways. Oh, wait. Can I not do? Hold on. We gotta go somewhere else before we go into Northhorn. We gotta do it somewhere else. We might be able to do it in Northhorn. Let's see. Oh wait, I can go to Costa del Sol. Hold on. So yeah, what we're doing today is Northhorn. But really quick, I'm gonna show you the mount you can get from the event. I don't know if it's a mount that you have to do in the water or if it's because it was Northhorn. That's why. It's the wrong one. Hold on 1 second. Mount. Also have the tiger. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at it. It's so cute. You can take it in the water, just float. Hold on. I don't get wet. I don't get wet. Yay. I don't get wet. It's a really cute mount. There are people over there doing a mission. You don't want to see what Xiao Chat is saying. Shang is saying. Can I even fly over there? Hold on, my friend's over there. I know they are. They're over at this point. I don't know. Where's the drop off point where you're huffing it? I don't know, but there they are. They're over there. Hee haw. Oh, that's the bear. Oh, I get hoofing it after that. But yeah, that's what it looks like. It's really cool. It's really nice. But yeah. Okay. Can I get off of here? Okay. Let's go back. I just wanted to show that off real quick. So we're doing Northhorn. I did the event quest earlier. Very short. Very short. There's two. There's the one for the mount, and there is one. I don't know what it does, but I think it gives you. I know it gives you like a firework or something at the end. It gives you that. It's alright. Ugh. I don't know what it does though. Back in the Northhorn. Not extreme. Oh no. Not yet. But hope we're all doing well. I may have been in the middle of just vibing a little too hard, so I was like a minute late. I was a minute late. Did we get in here late for? We did. Damn. It always happens. Always happens. Come in late for Northhorn, or now Northhorn Tower. Okay. So I'm just gonna do this. Oh, just for me. What am I leveling? Dragoon. There we go. That's. Oh wait. Is that up? Oh, that's up now. Oh. I'm not gonna make it in time. I feel it in my bone. I feel it. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but we'll try. Maybe we will actually. We have 31 seconds. That should be fine. That should be fine. Yeah, everyone's at the boat. I left the boat so that I could work. Pretty much. I put work in quotations. Oh, it's right. Oh my god. We're cutting it close. 2, 1. Oh, we made it just in time. Just under the needle. Oh, just. Oh. Oh, it was just that close. I'm not getting aggro. I know that. I know that much. I messed up already. I feel like I was supposed to do one of these other ones. That's very mean. Why you do that? I wasn't paying attention. What's gonna happen here? I think. Oh, yeah, that. Okay. Sorry, I had to mute. Oh! Who died? Oh no, baby. What are you doing? Shouldn't have done that twice, but you know, it's fine. That's coming from over there. I did not start that off the correct way. I am, you know what? I'm a has-been. It's okay. This is what happens when I don't do content for a while. Actually, that's a lie because I've been doing the mount farms as tank, which would have told me this like, how long have I been playing this game actually? 2021. If you would have told me 3 years ago. Okay, I thought I Messed up there. I don't like this. Oh, I died. You know what? I wasn't paying attention. It's fine. It's fine. Surely I would be picked back up. Surely. At some point. Oh, I thought the dog came in. At some point in time, someone will be like, oh my God. This poor, oh, see? They're like, oh my God, this poor soul. Look how he was murdered. What the hell? Okay, you know what? That's fine. Whatever. Let me do this and this just in case. I thought I wasn't done with that. Bring Vine Cheese right back here. Thank you. What am I doing anymore? You know what? I know what it is. Was I still in that? Gonna do that real quick and left. Because surely I can regain all of my health in just this little bit of time. So many people died to that. I don't know how many people are new though. Can do that. I remember the old combo. It's like this, bop, bop, boop, bop, beep, bop, cowboy bebop, blah, blah, something, something. Dark side. Oh! Mean. Yippee! I've overtaken Battle High. And we mastered out. I don't know how I overtook Battle High, but you know, I'll take it. It's fine. I'll take it. Alright. Samurai we started already because we put it through Magic Tower. And that got an immediate level up. I gotta keep track to see if I don't have a tracker, so I can't. Oh, you know what I should do? Hold. It's silly. And we just got it. But I'm adding this to the roulette. I'm adding the floaty to the roulette. Alright. Adding it there. Who's gonna fuss at us for that? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. There's something I want to see with the... It's this one, yeah. This is the one we need the coffers for. Yeah. So, eventually when we get to 4, we'll start using those when we go in the tower. If I bring Samurai along, that is. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. We're just kind of wasting time now until the next thing. How many? 3 silvers. That's ninja. There we go. Samurai. Okay, wait. We were near one of them, so let me go back. Actually, no, we weren't. We were not. I'm goofy. Where's the teleport? Right here. There's a silver chest almost always in this forest area over here. This Marrowwood. The Marrowwood. Okay. So we're gonna do that. I still have a little cough. I don't know what's going on. Oh, hello. You're not a mimic. Huh? No. They have mimics on the map. And I found out very quickly. They place the mimics at points. I think they know people have certain things that show them where the stuff are. Like they have maps out or something. That shows where all the coffers are. So I think this time they very much. Oh, hey, see, silver. A prism? Oh, what the hell? Why? Why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to me? That's disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, there. I'm gonna call your mother or something. Oh, I was already on a mount. You know what? It happens. It happens. And we're close to the CE. So even better. I got Florida Man, so I'm fine with that. I'm drinking a ginger lemon. No, ginger honey and ginger lemon. I added lemon, but a ginger honey herbal tea. I've been very much on the ginger, lemon, honey, anything bandwagon for a while with these. I have a peach one that's really good, really tasty. Has a little kick to it. This has a little kick to it. Like last night, I brewed a little pot of it. I thought it cooled down, but it was just the ginger that felt like it was about to burn my throat. That was a fun time. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. No, I didn't say that exactly, but I was just sitting there like, oh my god. Sorry, I got something. Someone said. Sorry, I got. Sorry. Certain instincts kicked in just now. Certain instincts kind of kicked in. Boyfriend instincts kicked in. So it's gonna go play League. But yeah, what was I saying? I was so thrown off because you turn that off. I know that doesn't affect me, but I'm doing it anyways. That's out. Ah! We're good. We're fine. I fucked up. Oh my god. I fat fingered. Okay, we're good. Oh, I can't do it again. Oh, what the hell? What the hell? Come on. At this point, I just make everything up. Oh yeah, the ginger tea. That's what I was talking about. I'm gonna have to leave Northhorn for a moment after this CE. Oh, hold on. Oh, what the hell is going on? Why is it that I leave? Oh, it's this way. I go to work for not even an hour. Is it gonna be over here? It's like a little safe spot always in these little areas, right? Yeah. Fuck, I messed up again. I need to put on a summer outfit. I'm sure that Cerberus. Excuse me. Sorry. I didn't see where the last one was. Was that the last one? That was the last one. You son of a bitch. How I evaded that? No idea. Hi, Shield. How you be? I'll be all right. I have to. Oh, I leveled up just that fast. Wow. That was also thanks to Tower. All right, 1 second. I have battle high still for, well, it's for 3 minutes. I'm sorry. I think it's the funniest thing in the world that someone is hitting on as we speak. It's the funniest thing, but also like, huh? Do they not? Do they not? You can't see what I'm doing, but you should have the capacity to understand the game. There are a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of people also in game that would help. There's also a lot of people who would help in game if there are like any questions. I'm not one to say Novice Network will help you. That's like a 50-50 toss-up. That's like a 50-50 toss-up that you get help from Novice Network. But yeah, if you got into the game, there'd be a bunch of people that I could probably help a little bit with my knowledge. There are people more knowledgeable than me, for sure. For sure. Go in my Overwatch and block. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's just not funny. He said she's gone, but I'm still here. I trekked all the way here. I trekked all the way here by foot from North Horn. I'm gonna show you how RNG these cannons are really quick. Okay, you know what? That's so dumb. I made it over here in one go. I swear normally you don't get the first shot that sends you over. It's normally it's normally 3 shots. One second. All right, now go back to North Horn. I want him to get the dose. There we go. Oh, enjoy Panera. Oh my god. Do I need help? Maybe. Maybe not. I still want to play Balatro, actually. I was watching a few people play it. It seemed it seemed pretty fun. I think it was described as a toilet game. You know, toilet game. You can sit on the toilet while playing it. But you know what? I would love to sit in the toilet and make my legs go numb while playing Balatro. Absolutely. What am I doing? Oh yeah, refreshing. Ba, ba, ba. Oh my god, we get back in time for tower. Oh, that's crazy work, actually. Is it from here or is it from here? I think so. I can't believe we actually made it back in time for tower. That's nuts. You know what? Fine, sure. PC died on my... Oh, died on you 3 years ago? Oh no. Oh, yeah, Stream Deck's not bad. I said Stream Deck. Steam Deck. Steam. I'm thinking of products from Elgato. Because I'm looking at one. That's why. That's not bad though. I'm sorry about your PC though. That's the number one thing I worry about, because now it's a lot more difficult. Okay, sure. It's a lot more difficult to get parts and replace PC parts because of the rise of cost. So yeah, like now I need a new hard drive, SSD, so I can upgrade it, and that's not happening anytime soon. That's not happening anytime soon. Yeah. I think when I bought... Okay, so my power supply was messing up for me. And I ended up I was about to go on a hiatus from streaming, and someone just like donated a bunch so that I can rebuild it, like replace the power supply, get like new stuff in. All of that came up to maybe just over 1,000 for all the upgrades. Now 1,000 just gets you one thing. $1,000 just gets you one thing for your computer. I think at most you're spending $4,000 on a full build. Like your base budget build at this point, I think is this is very depressing when you think about it. But I think your base budget build, which used to be like 800, maybe 500 bucks. I think 800 at least, or at minimum. Now it's like maybe 1,500, maybe 1,500, because prices have just gone up. It sucks. It really sucks. I'm used Cannoneer. We're just under 1,000. Yeah, all the new stuff is just, it's wild. It's really wild. I do not wish anyone, I mean, I guess if you have the money, then, you know, go ahead and do all those upgrades and so forth. But if you're just like an everyday, you know, working person that doesn't get $1,000 or more that quickly, like, I guess, would it be middle class? Someone who doesn't have a job that pays out that great. Let's put it like that. We're going in. We're going in. I think Samurai might get mastered, which might be the fastest I've ever mastered any job in this whole Occult Crescent. I'm so happy y'all can't see that. That's crazy. Can't believe you've done this. Do any of us have the... No. Everybody wants the money. Okay, well. Was I on earlier? I went to Chemist, but I don't think I went at Chemist. I was on Cannoneer. Oh, man. Oh, why did I come in right there? Okay, it didn't do any damage. Is it this guy? Okay, it's not this one. It's this one. I'm so out of sorts. I'm so out of sorts. Oh god. Enjoy the lurk. I'm so out of sorts. Oh my goodness. Keeps giving me the wrong target. Everything is kind of messed up now. Oh no. I've done this 3 other times. You would think I have it all down packed. No, I forgot about that. I'm forgetting about a lot of things right now. I'm forgetting about so many things. They're probably thinking to themselves, wow. Anyone watching right now is like, wow, is this his first time? No. And that's what makes it maybe partially hilarious, but also partially just I should not have moved, but I didn't get. All right, we lock in. Is this one of those things where... Yep. Oh, never mind. I ran out. I'm trying not to cough. Is this what I think it is? Yep. We were dead for half the fight. I just want to point that out. We were dead for about half the fight. Why didn't it do the thing that I wanted it to? Oh, wait. No, no, no. There we go. Wrong one. This one might actually go by pretty fast. Do you think people are potting in here? Do you think? All right, so we go out. Okay, yippee! Where is it? There it is. The first time I did this, there are so many people that surround the chest. I did not see it. I did not see it. So I was lost. I was so lost. All right, there are secret chests in this area, so I think we use. Oh, okay, cool. I think it's after this one. Ow. Ba, ba, bum, ba, da, ba, da, ba. Da-da-da-da. Oh, he did it. All right, cool. Yeah, there's always one right here, I think. I think there could also be one on the other side, but not this time. I think it would show up, right? Yeah, it would show up. I know there's time. I don't want to get hit though. I don't want to get hit. I don't know if anyone went to that one. Everyone moves so fast. Like, damn. Also, the fact that they have not put the they've not put it on me yet is insane, but it's okay. Didn't get murderized there. I'm definitely being targeted by something. That's a lot going on right there, brother. Oh, that's not very cash money of them. Wait. All right, let me switch to Cannoneer because that's what I wanted to use in the first place. Born to be an off-tank. I like that mechanic a lot, actually. This guy. It's an easy read. Yippee. That's not why I like it. I just think it's a cool mechanic. Next one is definitely going to be out. We've had this knot. That's been inside of our house for a while. I don't know if I should say a while, but it's been annoying the hell out of us. Was this the last one? Where he bounces. Okay, I know where it goes now. Boom shakalaka. Had nothing to put on anyone but myself. Also, they're shielding themselves, so Have you noticed I have not used any of these things like this? I'm just using them because I can. Last time I stood in that like a dummy. I was very heavily focused on where that was going. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I hate him. No, I don't. All right, cool. Is right here. This is the one I kept missing when I would come in here. For some reason, I just kept missing it. I don't think there's any more hidden chests. Maybe there are, actually. I don't know. So we have this ad, these ads. I said this ads. These ads. Boss. One more set of ads. There's that freaking that. Hasn't even been that hot in here. Is it the other one? It's the other one. Okay. I see the gnat. It's just flying around me, and I'm just like, brother, please. For the love of God, just go away. Choosing me as his victim. Stop it. Okay. We'll have to deal with that at some point when it gets close enough. I'm not so focused on a tower. Today is Wednesday, yeah. Oh yeah, last night Parrish and I played Rivals. Now, if I'm to be honest, Rivals hasn't been the best in quick play. It hasn't. It's been no, boss and ads and then change class. Okay. We are so back, chat. Some of these cannons do something that's so crazy. Oh shit. That was death. If I would have stayed there, that is. Oh, you know what? Makes sense that I would mess up on that one. We gotta see where they go. This one is gonna be the cross section type one, I think. Sorry, Black Mage. I forgot to do that before that happened. Our room does feel a little warm. I got snapshot in over here. Oh my god. I missed an OC or an OC, a CE. I said an OC. Help. Okay, well, I guess it was bound to happen. I guess. But we're back. I did not catch the net. That's been terrorizing me this whole time. I thought I'd get him when he got on the microphone, but guess not. Okay. Do we go look for... Oh, wait, there's something right here. Hopefully it doesn't die before we get there. Do you know anything about these? It's almost dead. It's almost dead. I wasted time. Hey, maybe we can make it in there. Who knows? Maybe? No. I'm gonna go. The amount of questions I've seen in the past like 5 minutes is insane. Okay, it's not up here. Can I jump off of this and not die? I probably. What if I died? What if I died? Okay, I didn't. But imagine if they didn't have that. If they didn't have that little feature, that little mechanic in there. And you jumped off and then you died because that's such a massive height to jump off from. Just imagine. Oh yeah, there was a mimic right here once. Ah, it's going so fast. It's gonna, before I even get there, it's gonna be done. Oh hey, gold coin. How much do we have? We're getting close to maxing out on silver again. I think I only need one more killer top. Oh, CE. Oh, I'm close to it. Well. Hold on, I'm gonna encourage. Ah! Is it the... Am I pressing the right? Oh, that's because I'm still in there. I'm like, why can't I? Why can't I do the thing? This is math. Man, I hate math. I can hate math, man. Wait, is it pods soon or something? Like, oh, I missed people. Oh. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh, wow, wow. I should probably take something for the scratchy throat because I noticed during break my throat started getting a little scratchy, which normally happens with my allergies, which I don't normally experience every year, but times have changed And so have I. Speaking of taking medicine, I had to take some right now, so we're caught up. This was the first CE I think I got when I started North Horn. I think the VOD is up on YouTube because I've been exporting all of our VODs to YouTube. So people who want to watch, who want to go back and watch, I'm not saying that necessarily. People will go back and watch. But if they wanted to, per se, they could. This is not a lot of people, by the way. I'm guessing... Have a great stream. Angel sends a very tired hello. Tell Angel I said hello. I'm going over here. Oh, I should have stayed over there. You know what? I'm goofy. I never said I was good at math. I'm sure you saw already that Parrish uninstalled Rivals. I can tell you exactly how bad the two games we went through were. Hello? Oh, that's a lot of people dead. Yeah, it had to be pots. Because you don't just get this little bit of... Unless people hate doing math, then that would be kind of funny. So we had a couple games last night. Oh, I was trying to talk about this earlier. We had a couple games last night that were not very cash money, I will say. But to be honest, a lot of games on Rivals have been absolute poop. They have not been great. I don't think I get healed by this. But I've been pushed to playing tank a lot on there. This is in 3, right? Okay, I was fine. Hurry up. Fucking back. I am so tired of this goddamn knock. So we had a game where he's Hawkeye, and we're getting the usual suspects of, oh, I'm gonna pick DPS, and then I'm gonna have to switch off of DPS because the two or three other people go on DPS, and he's not trying to tank, so I go tank. But also just having absolutely no help whatsoever during those matches. He was getting dived on by like 2 people. And no one was helping him. Like no one changed the help. So rage happened. Ah, fuck. Can I heal anyone else with this? Did I give it to myself? No, I gave it to someone else. Cool. Rivals has really just been a time and a half. I fucked that up. It's okay. Just Rivals was such a time. Now the healing, it's gonna continue to be such a time. So anyways, I have Overwatch. No. I mean, I do. Okay, let's see here. I hope they all got bronze. I'm kidding, I don't. I'm not that petty. I mean, I can be. I think we all can be a little petty. Where are we for our leveling of the samurai? Why did I sound like Kermit the Frog for a second? Guess I'll soon see where it's at. I'm so dumb. Oh, so if it hits those nuts, that's what our seeds. I said nuts. Okay. Next one. Actually, I think there's one in here, but I want to check the heal side to see if there's a silver here. See if we have a silver. Also, tomorrow we're going to be on a lot earlier because I normally go early, on earlier, like regular time, 2 p.m. Eastern. It will not be 14. It will not. Probably next week. We'll see 14 back. been fun to actually like stream something more than dailies. To be honest with you, it's been this, Rivals, and Once Human, but I haven't played Once Human in a bit. Leave me alone. Touch me. Yep, silver. Oh! Overzealous affirmation. Oh. I got stuck on a rock. Damn, that's all the way up there. How does Horror return? Oh, thank God, there's a thing right here, so I can just do this number. Did we not level out Dragoon? Oh no, that's Ninja. There's Dragoon. Okay. I was so confused for a moment because I saw that there and I was like, sir, madam, person, erm. Hello, Wraith. From the critically acclaimed asymmetrical horror thriller chaser Dead by Daylight. I think normally I would say the asymmetrical hide and seek horror slasher thriller. I think that describes Dead by Daylight. Well, I don't know if it's hide and seek anymore. It's more... I was like, what the hell? What the heck? Oh, housing is up. That's what it is. Hold on. I'm so mad earlier. A pose of mine got messed up. Sure, mid. I should have did that beforehand. I wasn't privy to it. Thank God I corrected myself before that happened. Right under him, man. Right in his gooch. God, I hate this cough. Jesus Christ. I kind of like tuned out a little bit. I'm not. Yeah, I kind of like forgot like everything I was really doing. Did I go into the goo? It'd be kind of funny if I did. Mostly to myself. Actually, yeah. How I got away with that? No idea, but we got away with it. Do I get Necromancer again? Because you can get that from this. I don't. Do I have this already? Oh, it's Fist Pump. Okay. How much does it go for? I guess I could check later, right? Hello, Steven. Hope your day is going well. Noel. I think that's a new one. I think that's the first time I've been called Noel. I'm doing all right. Just going through some Northbourne grind for phantom job levels and dodging a gnat at the same time. To the trader. For some reason, it does feel hot in this part of the room. I don't know why. I use the computer. I think maybe if I didn't have this computer on the floor next to me, I wouldn't get so hot. I also have a fan here. Where is it? Just a remote. I say that, but I can just turn it on with my foot. I could just do that. It's just that easy, chat. Boom, just like that. I don't know if that's a smart idea with me having a cough still, but you know, we'll get over it. Surely we'll get over it. How many people are in this instance? Oh! How did this clear out so fast? I swear there were more people here. I swear there were more people here. Hi, Yin. Hello. Hello, hello. I think it's the first time I've been in an instance where it's not like built to 72. Wait, we just did. Oh, wait, I did leave out earlier, but I thought I got the same instance. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave this one and then come back in. And see if we get a better instance. Yeah, I was sitting here, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This was filled with people when I first came in. Why am I not having more people? Not really like that, but why? Why do everybody not come in? Does Bruno Mars is gay? Game Grumps reference. Game Grumps, you know, that's me. Okay, surely we don't get put back in that one since they're not accepting it, right? If they're not, surely we get a new instance with a lot of people and tower weather. I lied to myself. Let me see though. Okay, yeah, we got a new instance. Bless. Full on. Wait, let me see. What is the? Okay, we have. Okay, this is gonna be active for a good while. We have one that's at 15 minutes, but like, I think we're good. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. So I have to do everything all over. When do we get the... Is that level 15? That feels like such a long ways away. Feels like such a long way away. Okay, well, I didn't mean to do that. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for telling me that. I was so confused. I thought like for one of them, it was like pots or something was happening. But like the instance was just, oh my God. Chat. Actually, hold on. Erish, I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna send this to you. Because now you're gonna understand my pain. Tiny bit. He'll never know. Unless he's watching. Oh, wait. That's going on now. Okay. We're gonna go down. Math. Math! Was that Meteor Survivor? Is that Meteor? Wait. Is that the Meteor that I would know of? I saw Meteor. I was like, huh? Meteor? There are a lot of meteors, but I don't know how many survivors there are. I'm looking at the list. If they're from where I think they're from, I'm going to laugh to myself only. Coochie Lane. They're from Coochie Lane. Why are they shirtless? You know what? Why did I ask that question? Do your thing. Do your thing. It has to be. It has to be. Kind of. Maybe. I don't know. Why not? You know, that's so right. Let the titties free. Meteor. Let them free. Hiroshi. Meteor. Whichever one you want to call them, I guess. Hiroshi. Told you I can't roll R sometimes. Cause huh? Oh, I think Sig is at this one. Oh, there's the Meteor Survivor. There's the survivor of the meteors. There's the survivor of the meteors. Wow. They look so cool. Their shirt is open. They're ready for summer. I ask you people to stack in the tower. Jesus was seen. Jesus is coming. And the Jesus? Meteor Survivor. Show me to Rachel. Who is that with him? You see me just doing laps? Just see me doing laps on a capybara? I love this capybara. It's so cute. Look at it. It's so cute. I can't pet it. I don't think. Can I? No. Bitch! Oh my god. I'm gonna kill this fucking gnat if I can just... I pull up! You coming to Horn North? I just did this CE, funny enough. Oh, my bad. My bad. Which one is this? 3? I should have went to the other side. I'm dumb. Parrish is getting his tan on in the pool. You know what? That's tea. That's tea. I'm at 43. I'm gonna do this one. You're wondering, Norm, how did you do that? I don't know. I just be moving. I thought I was early. I sincerely thought I was early on that. I do love that Okay, not every. It's only 3 people to a tower. It's literally. Chat. Can I? Let me talk to you. Not everybody needs to get on that tower. Not every. It's only 3. You don't need the entire instance on the tower. But you know what? The more the merrier. I ain't no punk beach. I ain't no punk beach. There's another raid where people stack, like everyone stacks on 1 point, and it always I think it always baffles me a little bit, because I'm like, wait, no, you don't need 2 people. You don't need like 50 people here. You can go. And it's front lines. That's where it's front lines. That's not a raid, but it does happen a lot in front lines. It does happen quite a lot in front lines. I haven't front lines in so long. Should I do the Summer of Blood thing? I heard it's like a cool little event that they have going on. And I didn't make it out in time. I'm a failure. Oh my god. I think it's a cool little, like, fun PvP thing. Is that today? No. I think it is, actually. Hold on. Sen! Wait, is the old one gonna play too? Sen, how was stream? Thank you for raid. Are we on 3? I don't think so. I'm gonna go over here anyways. Can't go wrong with 5. Oh, this time I went to the middle. Stream was good. Did some live reading of Harry Potter. Oh, there's the old one. There it is. It was late. Do you think I'm getting in that tower? No. Did you think I was getting in that tower? No. There were like 20 people there. They all probably sang. I'm kidding, people in the Essence. You probably took a shower. Maybe, I don't know. Did you? I hope you did. Oh, I just saw Harry and I thought the rest was Potter. My bad. Harry Justin. I took a look at what is EPPL demos for some games on Steam. Oh, okay. That sounds fun. Glad it was a good time. I don't know if everyone that came with you doesn't know me, but if you don't, just in case, here's a little introduction. I'm Norm. I do variety content, mainly with the critically acclaimed MMO RPG Final Fantasy XIV. In fact, if you do this, it does the whole spiel for me. I also play Marvel Rivals and a bunch of other games, some single player. But it's mainly been 14 Rivals and Once Human, mostly. You know what I was just reminded of, Sin, because you rated and something, same with Bunny, wrestling. I was reminded of wrestling. Let me tell you why. Because there's a comedian that was on podcast. Well, he has his own, but he was guest on this podcast, and they were talking about how microtransactions and how 2K with microtransactions ruined or is killing games, and in particular with WWE 2K. and that's why I thought about it. It's a game I haven't played in like ages because I don't know. Do I keep up? I don't really keep up. I don't really keep up with wrestling that much. I did watch SummerSlam. I did watch that. Yeah, I heard so much stuff about microtransactions. Like they have the island. I heard they have the island where you, which is okay. So for those who are not privy to the WWE 2K series, WWE 2K, which started out as like SmackDown, and then eventually it became SmackDown versus Raw, and then 2K got it, and then it turned it into its own 2K franchise. And when it started out, it didn't have, I mean, they introduced like a super cards thing in there, but they didn't really have microtransactions. They didn't have anything really that you should spend money on. All right, and you could easily earn VC currency through playing the game. Then all of a sudden, they introduced the island. When I first heard of it, I was like, oh, that sounds cool, but it's also, think of NBA 2K where they have the park, but make it wrestling. That's the, that is the island. They started locking things that you would unlock through doing showcase mode, which is a mode that takes you through time, classic wrestling matches, rivalries, all that stuff. Wow! Oh, sorry, my voice just gave out. Hello, Alex. Thank you for the subs. Enjoy Unicorn. Enjoy. My voice just gave out in the middle of that. Yes. W Alex. Yes. That was mid explanation too. God, where was I? Hold on. Yeah, thank you for subs. Enjoy all of the magical gayness of your unicorn that should be in your notifications. I mean, maybe all of this money is gonna get me to the UK eventually. Absolutely. You didn't see it, but I like started leaning in towards a non-existent camera that's not even up there. Okay, but yes. So they showcase mode, and then there are many other things that you could do to unlock certain things in the game. They started locking those behind things you would do in the island, and that's been happening since last game and now the current game that is out. So now, instead of you being able to play the game normally and unlock these things, you have to go through microtransaction hell just to get the boots you want. You saw from like WrestleMania, you want those boots, you gotta go to the island and probably spend a bunch of money to progress your character. It is terrible. It is absolutely horrible. The moment I heard about that, I was like, sure, keep it with the sports games. I guess there's a market there. Go for it. Wrestling fans are broke, mostly. They are not gonna go for that. But yeah, I had to explain that because I watched the interview and they were talking about how with isn't it? I guess it's over here. Well, I can't do shit. Ooh, kind of close. I thought about that interview just now when y'all rated because I was like, I wonder if they're still like doing 2K stuff. But yeah, I haven't touched the game in a while. It is lost to me, I guess. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. As much as I enjoyed the games. Oh shit, that's out. Yeah, as much as I enjoyed playing the games and creating my guy and making him wrestle, and making funny like doing things on stream with it, but man, it just kind of sucks. It's like watching one of your favorite games go down in quality years after you. Oh wait, I've witnessed that with Destiny as well. I witnessed that with Destiny as well. Damn. I've seen it twice. If you count Madden, 3 times. If you count NBA 2K, 4 times. Well, I really have a lot of games that have just gone down in quality that I used to play. If you count Marvel Rivals, I'm kidding, not Rivals. Just people are dumb in that game. I'm sorry. Almost got it with Save Decay. Yeah, they had another game that came out, right? Speaking of survival games, I've been playing a lot of Pal World. And I've been playing, well, I did play a lot of Zomboid. I think gonna get back into that because the full release came out recently, and even though we full release, the new version came out, and I kind of want to see what changed between beta and now it being unstable. But I've really been enjoying Pal World. Three is coming out next year. Same with Guild Wars. Wait. Yeah. Guild Wars 3 is coming out next year too. No, not next year. Did they have a release date for Guild Wars? Now think about it. Oh, Tower. Jeez. Yeah, I don't think they had a date set for that yet. If they did, I forgot it by now. It's right here. I was very excited for the announcement. I thought that was cool. Let's see. Let's see if I am noticed. What is you talking about? That's crazy. Sorry, I just had to chime in there for a second. I haven't played State of Decay in a while though. That's another one. It used to be myself, Daryl, Brett, Peyton. Doing that. It was so fun. It was so fun. Back in the good old Mixer days. I was just talking about this with Parrish earlier. Cause I don't think I ever told him how I met one of like my good friends through streaming. And and it all started with just talking about butts. Yeah. And that's how I got the emo. Because I would always say butt. I wouldn't say shit, fuck, motherfucker, bitch. I tried to say as clean as possible when I first started. And I kind of had to, because when I started modding for Lena, she did not allow cussing at all, man. Not in chat, not on voice chat or anything. You could not cuss. That was the big thing. So I tried to be as like clean, so clean. I just hope we can get the Impala in it. I want the supernatural car in State of Decay 3. Ooh, yeah, that would be cool. That'd be really nice. Could you imagine? What, the 6-7 days? Oh my god. All right, this is our second tower run. So 3? Actually, maybe I need to play State of Decay 2. I need to get on there. Wait, I just read what Parrish said. I'm sorry. Oh, that was funny. Listen, there's always something that's gonna get me a hooting and a hollering. What? Wait, Parrish, I just saw your G post. I just saw it. Well, when you're in the process of doing one. Oh my god. It reminds me of a meme I saw. That a friend of mine did a pose of. It was like the lady in the bedroom with two people who are doing it, and and she's just looking at the camera like disgusted, kinda. That's what that reminds me of. I don't know why, it just does. It's so funny. Oh my god. Can people invite you to parties in Tower, by the way? I'm not gonna do Samurai now. I'm gonna do... I don't have any potions. Yeah, I don't have any... Oh wait, I do have potions. Ah, I can heal myself. Bless. Well, I'm probably gonna use whatever. Spray. Was it chemist I was looking for? Yes. They started already. These whores. Where am I? What am I on? I'm on this guy. All right. Why'd I do that? I'm so dumb. I think they go middle first with their AoE. Ow, that hurt. Mm-hmm. What in tarnation? Of course they give me the green head. Green's my favorite color, after all. Why is everyone over there? Oh. For some reason, I thought I saw the other one come out first. I couldn't see which one was going faster, I guess. I guess that'll be the tell for that, right? Why'd I do that? Son of a biscuit. I would have chanced it, but it keeps me out of range. God, I want to cough so bad, but I'm trying to stop myself from coughing. Oh, they summoned that. Never mind. I don't know why I did that then. Oh, 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 oh. I fucked up. I tend to fuck up a lot. Never mind. I like how everyone just grouped up right there. It's so cute. Should I? Should I? Should I? Should I? Should I? Should I? Wee! I only dodged that because I saw the other Dodge to the side. Oh shit. I think that's the first time I've seen Pink Buster from that. I think it's dead like after that. Yeah, normally it's ooh. Almost forgot to get my spoils. Almost. Where are we at? 24 minutes? We're fine. I haven't really had to kill myself. Maybe I should change something else. Maybe. Wait, does Extreme go that way? Does the Extreme Tower go that way? And that's why we don't... Wee! Always think about this stuff when I see things that I can't walk to or walk through. That was fast. Is it this one? Meteor Survivor's gonna do it. Yes! We love Jesus. We love you, Jesus. I'm sorry. My bad. So it's either one or the other. It's what I'm getting from. Don't go for the second area. Ow. What the frick? No one goes for this one. Whee! Did it hit me? No. I think every time I've jumped. Ah! Bitch. I made it. There's a lot going on here. Bro, I can't see diddly squat in this crowd. Any AoEs that are going off, I can't see shit. Oh my god. Bro, can you see anything? Was there anything down there? No. Or no one went for it. What? What am I reading in Link Shell? What is going on? What is going on? That's a whole boat. Rock the boat, baby. Don't tip the boat over, rock the boat. Something like that. Did I get it right? Rock the boat. We're gonna go to this side. Now I'm going to not that side. I almost got that fucker. Oh my god. For some reason, we were free of this, like, this gnat, and then it came back. We've been fighting a gnat this whole time, y'all. Can you believe it? Oh, that's so dirty. That's so dirty. My combo. My combo. You dirty rat bitches. Anyways, we finished it. Yippee. Wait, which way you going? Wink. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's the last one. Oh, I was like, that guy's about to die. We're getting stronger. Dolby is a free man. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought of that just now. I don't know why. Don't ask me questions. Just sometimes when you're just here existing in your own space, you just, you know. Oh, I did that. I did that. I swear to God, if you take him south of him, I am going to eat all of your food, bro. All of it. Thank you. I'm gonna eat all his food, though. I was kind of hoping this thing would... This one. Listen, I wanted to heal, finally. Right here. Okay, no, we're done. I was trying to figure where it was. Whee! I don't know what's going on this ship, but the commentary from within the tower itself is hilarious. And I wish I could I wish I could describe it all, but like it's so funny. Just seeing it out of context is so funny. Man, I love the boat. If you have 14, if you have Final Fantasy 14 and you haven't logged on and you haven't gotten your your mount from the event yet, you should totally go do that. I did that earlier. Is it this one? Is it this one? No? Oh, it's over here. That's why. Excuse me. I am making my way. Amulet. Yippee! We did it. We saved Christmas. That's what we did. What in the world is going on? Okay, so it is... We go to this other guy that we're coming up on right now. I am going to refresh my stuff. Sweet. I'm gonna pick... Actually, I don't know if I want to pick Oracle. I don't know if I want to pick Oracle. I'm be honest with you, Chief. I don't want to do that. I always die. Always late. It's me. It's your boy. Does it transfer over to the cannon? Right here. That person died, and I have nothing to rest him with. All right, this one is going to be the pattern first. I think, is it like here? Yeah. Now, you know that man can't die while I'm here. I'll have it live on stream. I'm ripping Sig right now. Doesn't know it, but I'm ripping him. I almost died right there. I don't think I've died yet in this one. I think I've gotten close. Wait, no. I mean, no, the first one I was all out of swords, so that's the one I died on. This one I haven't. All right, so I gotta figure. Oh, that's not good. Well, you know what? I am a tank. I can survive. Arrgh. I say that, and I just got like 2-tapped. Thanks, Meteor Survivor of the Coochie Lane. Oh my god, whoever that was, thank you. Oh my god, I hate when it does that. So there's a keybind that apparently, I like how I said I haven't died yet, and then I died right there. I'm a tank. I can't die. Dies immediately after a 2-tap. I flew too close to the sun. I'm trying to see where this is going. Oh, it's the fire first. Okay. And then... so many people just died. Holy... we're almost out of here. We're out of this one. We have ads. And then we switch to samurai. I think this might level it. I think this might level it to master. It might. Hey, who the hell calling my house? How many goddamn things? Just like... how many of them just like... god dang, bro. That was crazy. There we go. More spoils. All right, we go to samurai now. We go to samurai. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great samurai run. I think tower might be it for today for me. After this, if I can get like an early start on breakfast. Okay, you know, here first. I was right. I don't know why this part confuses me, but it does. We get one from here, and then it's 3. We missed a chest. Okay, no, it's 2. So the 3 will get us 28. Okay. Me over here trying to do math? Terrible. Never let me do that again. Never, ever, ever let me do that again. Mathing in front of anyone's salad? Disgusting. disgusting, chat. Chat, you know what I'm gonna do? Dark Knight. Dark Knight. Surely I don't die to the most ridiculous stuff, right? Did I actually get caught by that? I did. Oh wait, it's that again. Oh no, not them betting on it. I should stand in one of these, right? All right, good. That didn't take me out of the spot that I'm at. Char. We're good. Have I told you I've never actually played Dark Knight in this type of content before? Outside of like, I guess. I guess you could say I was gonna try during Doom Train actually, but I don't think I know all of the ins and outs of Dark Knight 2. I guess effectively play it. Oh my god, we did so well on that one. Did someone fall off? I think it is possible to fall off this stage. I forgot he did that immediately after that one. Oh, that's huge right there. That was huge right there. So many people died. It's like I did put on my samurai one, right? All right. I was concerned that I didn't put on the samurai phantom job. Oh god, I might have been. That could have been bad. I'm going for this one because there's so many people over there doing that. Oh. Nice. A show of fork. Yeah, that did it. Let's go. We got it leveled. We got it mastered. Kinda. No. We get it mastered after this one. I thought we were at the level where we can master it. Or is 5 the enhanced trait? Oh, it's the enhanced trait. That's what it is. It's the enhanced trait. Okay. All right. There are a few things I want to get before I get off of stream. What the fuck, guys? Sorry, I just saw chat in Final Fantasy. That's so funny. Okay, so before we leave this instance, what we're gonna do, we're not doing SCE. We're gonna go over to this guy. I was wrong. We're gonna go over to this guy, this person. We're going over here. And a lot of this stuff we can get with our own stuff here. We don't have this, and we don't have this. So if we get this, I think we can still get this, right? I feel like that that emoji right now, where it's like the point, that's me right now. I'll get the card, just so I can have the card. All right, that was a fun run. 2 fun runs of tower today. Again, 2 fun runs of tower once again. I really enjoyed that. Dying a lot on the first one, that's fine. I'm gonna go to Costa del Sol. I'm gonna switch to a more appropriate Jorb. But on top of that, right, we're gonna hold on. I think I have a, do I have one? Oh, that's my Fisher Glim. Wait, my monk. Yeah, there we go. My monk has something. Here we go. Anyways. Yeah, summer. I'm letting you all watch me go to Costa del Sol. I'm letting you all watch me do that. Letting you all watch that. All right, chatterinos, my friends, my home skillets. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. I'm sending you guys to a very nice, very beautiful person. I'm gonna watch that after I end stream, just in case it has copyrighted music. as I'm listening to the violin. Well, it's not being put on stream, so like, you're gonna watch the VOD back and you're gonna be like, wow, there's no sound, there's no music. Whoa. What did we raid yesterday? We raided Salem. That's who it was. We're raiding Lucian today. They're playing Dead by Daylight. So enjoy Lucian playing Dead by Daylight. I will see y'all tomorrow, bright early, 2 p.m. Eastern. Most likely, the Rivals makeup day will be tomorrow. And then if I want to do some Once Human on Friday, I'll do that. But most likely, it'll be Rivals for the rest of the week. Unless I feel like doing more North Horn, which I probably will feel like doing. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh my god, more Final Fantasy content from the streamer who does Final Fantasy? Wow, crazy. Who would have thought? Not me. I'm kidding. Totally would have thought I would do that. Anyway, say hi to Lucian. They're cool. They're nice. They're gorgeous. They're bestie. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, each other, most for your friends and family. Mwah. Bye.